Hello, everybody. Good evening. This is Dr. Rao. Welcome to my evening room. All those hearing here or on online after the event, welcome. So, this is inspired by a friend of mine I talked to this morning, and we were talking about how she had a skin disorder at one time, and she had visited so many doctors, so much treatments, different specialists, and all that. And then they were taking pictures of her rash and really subjected herself to a lot of variety of treatments and consultations with innumerable number of doctors, right? But the end, she was not able to get any relief from the uh, skin rash. So she told me that after she stopped all medications and then she started meditation, with the meditation she was able to overcome these rashes and they have gone, you know. That was her. She's a very rational modern lady, and she had really mastered meditation to a degree that it is really helping her to not to aggravate the physical condition. And because she was not aggravating it, it has spontaneously resolved. So I don't know her medical history and all that, but she is believable. Somebody who can really vouch for what she has experienced, right? And also, she has some insight into Indian philosophies and all that, right? So then we ended up talking about mind over matter, mind over the body, and my experiences with um many patients who really reacted pretty badly after they got a diagnosis. And the same thing, nothing else happened. But then, because they were worrying a lot with their mind after the diagnosis, they got much worse, and then eventually they succumbed to that. Versus the hearty people who are really devil may care. Let's take it easy. Let's go by whatever comes. That kind of happy-go-lucky people, right? Basically, they did very well even with severe illnesses. All that points out to how much effect our mind has on our body, right? That is something my experience, other physician experience, and all that. So we always tell them, look at with the positive mentality, deal with them as it comes. Don't engage in unnecessary worry into this. Face them as they come. All these things we talk to them in our interviewing the patient after the diagnosis. And sometimes it is pretty hard, right? Pretty bad diagnosis coming. You cannot preach them just to not worry about it, because the worry initiates, and then they were used to be a warrior before. So this worry gets it much worse, right? So with all that background, my understanding of psychosomatic illness, I want to present it today. So basically, psychosomatic illness is what psycho is more like a thoughts and mind. Um, Somatic is the soma or body. So, whatever small disease or no disease in the body is aggravated by your thinking, your way of go on worrying about things and all that can make much worse. Okay, that's the essence of it. A lot of people worry more than what they have, and they make it much worse. That is a phenomenon that everybody knows. But then there is a way to understand this and really help ourselves. I found that in the ancient wisdom. That's what I wanted to um, talk about today. Okay, as you look at this with that perspective, I've tried to see what did they say, what can we do to really not only uh, diagnose and treat and all that, but also don't make it a situation that is bad to worse just by negative thinking, or thinking that I can think over it, I can cure everything. My friend's rash is gone because of the meditation, she says. I have no reason not to believe her. And I also think she's telling the truth and her experience. But any number of things also will be there with other people. People can have some allergy, something that in the diet or in the chemicals, whatever they use, they may not be using them, and then the rash might have gone. But then, if the rash is really in your mind quite a lot, and then you will make it much worse. That is there too. For example, people who are stressed out, they have this tremendous itch and this dry skin and itch that gets aggravated. So there are a number of conditions we see that, for example, somebody has herpes simplex, and the lesions come on around the mouth, around the genitalia, and they get worse when they are very nervous and very panicky and all that, right? That is always there. So that kind of attitude that they have is really something that worsens their condition. Okay, so we know, simply put, if you think a lot, you can produce a lot of stress hormones, and those stress hormones make your condition much worse. For example, COVID. When COVID happened, people were really worried about it, right? And then they kind of really they didn't know about COVID before. So when they got it, and when it got into the TV and radio and all the media advertisement, then they began to know, oh, this is something deadly. That's why they want us not to go to the office or stay at home, and so we better take care. And then they get panicky even if they are diagnosed as positive, right? So many people died because of the aggravation of the worry and aggravation of the underlying immune reaction, and the immune reaction causes a lot of problems in their body. There are small thrombi that formed, and many organs are affected. Some people had renal failure, some people had liver failure, some people had lung primary thing, a lot of problems with the lung, and also stroke, heart attacks, and all those things, right? So we know about it. Microthrombi occluding the blood vessels, resulting in some kind of anoxia, and then they had organ damage and all that was initiated by the intense immune reaction that people had, because this is a novel virus. That means it's the first time it is happening in our immune system, and that was really not having any immune protective reaction on our part, but rather our immune system is reacting against a novel virus and initiated this violent storm of chemicals, and that they were acted on your body and got worse. The same thing can happen even if you have a small disease or something, and then you kind of work yourself up, or you get very worried within your mind, and you are constantly thinking, not even resting. Even if you are resting, you are kind of scared and worried and thinking negatively. That can affect your body, right? That is very commonly seen. Now, how does this uh, get worse like that? And how the ancient wisdom looked at it? They looked at it kind of different than modern people, right? In the modern people, what they think is, I have this body and I have this mind, and that's it. But some people will believe I'm more than that. I'm just the spiritual within. So some people may believe that, but majority of people, this is all mind. In the mind also, there's awareness, consciousness coming and all that. Okay, I think that is a profoundly mistaken state of human being status. Okay, whereas ancients really saw that we have body, yeah, we have mind, yeah, with thoughts and everything, but we have the ignition is with the consciousness. So the consciousness is fundamental, and that has the instruments of mind and the body. So that's a fundamental difference. Okay, modern people up until now they used to think consciousness is produced by the brain, and that's how they looked at it. But now they are able to understand, no, the consciousness is, it's called panpsychism in modern terms. Only one consciousness, that consciousness is existing all of us, and that's where our real being is. So that being has the instruments of mind with all the thoughts and feelings and everything, and the body. So consciousness being the primary, mind and body being the instrument. That's our. So people who have transcended their mind, overcome their mind, have the control of the mind, they do better when they have even the insults from the environment or their lifestyle, whatever the reason they developed uh, illness. The illness do not get worse because you have your mind under control and it doesn't go all over thinking about it. That's a fundamental. That's how psychosomatic illness doesn't get worse when you really understand what is the ancient wisdom is, what is inner conscious, and stay in the consciousness, and let the mind be calm, still, not moving, and that's the state of affairs of the mind that really helps you to control your illness or any insult from the environment or anything, right? So uh, people who calm themselves down, who really work in the present, who really take whatever treatment that's known and taken, and all that, that all works better when they don't have this mind running all over, or worrying or negatively thinking. That means either saying that I'm going to succumb to this or I will never get better, versus I'm going to fight it, I'm going to work at it. Those people actually they even produce some of the T lymphocytes better when they have the positive attitude like that. Okay, so very important to understand. Okay, we have the body can have a lot of problems, but we have the mind that can make it worse or better. So calm it down, use the mind for the practical process. Otherwise, the calm it down and deal with things as they appear, as they come, right? Don't exaggerate them with your own thinking, because you are not just your body, just your thought, but you are that conscious being within, which has the instruments of body and mind. This was their actor. So moderns all talk about body and thought, and they stop there, whereas ancients they talked about body, mind, and conscious being, consciousness, and then the consciousness uses both body and mind. So when you stay in the conscious being, you don't have the movement of thought or scattered thought. That's why your mind is very stable, and with the mind stable, no stress hormones. That's why you get better. Okay, this is the basic paradigm of ancient and paradigm of the modern, right? Modern people kind of stuck in thought, always thinking, and also if it turns negative, also they just go on thinking negatively. Very difficult for people to be positive and only think positive, right? So they are okay as long as things are going okay, but then the moment something goes wrong, they really become negative and they can't overcome that. Okay, that kind of thing. So think about this, understand the structure modern wise and ancient wise. I am more for the ancient. That is a fact for me, because I am the conscious being, a spiritual being going through the human experience. So whereas the modern way is I'm the human having the uh, human experience, but then I'm aiming to grow spiritually. In the, that's why I'm going to reach that. So basically, my body mind, I want to enjoy all the things, but I also want to reach the spiritual heights by coming by doing a lot of inner work, growth work, all those they call it. But then ancient said, no, you are already a realized human being. So your spiritual being is the essence of you. Stay there and then manage the body and mind. That kind of understanding really totally different. Moderns are more for the thinking and body. Ancients more for the inner conscious being, and then that has the instruments of body and mind. Moderns go after the pleasures, accumulations, everything outside, and then they kind of pursue, and then they spoil their health and all that. Ancients, they go inward and find our real self and stay there, and then they are able to be discovering the enormous amount of happiness that is there within us. That is the abundance we discover. So, really, humanity took a wrong turn when it is based everything on external things or thought that is going outward. Okay, so understand these things, and then you will be able to really. Once you understand that, you will be able to control the mind and overcome the mind by understanding it, transcending it, and then you will be able to use it effectively and also stop it when you don't need it. Okay, that's what I preach all the time. Be in awareness and use the conscious thought. Okay, that's the one I always talk about. So hopefully that makes sense for you, and I hope this will resonate with many people, and they can understand what is psychosomatic illness, what is the perspective of ancient wisdom, how can we make it practical. So what it is first of all, come to the terms that the physical body and mental body, they all go off. Because after a while, we die, then the body goes, the mind goes. But then we can make the body and mind work very well once we know they are our instruments and we should be in control of them, not to make them the bosses. And then when you have realities facing, then you only allow the reaction according to the situation, and also responding it rather than reacting emotionally, getting upset and getting security hormones, stress hormones. You just respond to what has to be done. How can we reverse the process? You can have a diagnosis, you can have treatment, all that. To prevent, we should be doing all these ancient healing practices along with the modern medicine and diagnosis tools that we have, all of them. That way, you can live happily and in good health. And the when health is threatened due to environment agent or infection or civilization diseases like diabetes and all that, when they happen, if you can control your mind, if you can take care of your body better by sleeping well and eating and exercising, you will not have to really suffer from these illnesses and all that much, and you also will live longer. Okay, and enjoy too. So understand all these things, then you'll be able to do that. Okay. So with that, I will end this talk here, and hopefully it makes sense to you. I'll see you back again in tomorrow. Okay. Bye bye.